can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet.
Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Akos.
You want answers.
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Akos.
Well, how we doing out there all across this great land of ours and around the world? It is that time for the Conservative Syndicate, coming to you live coast to coast and around the world, where it's prime time somewhere, everywhere. We're glad to have you with us this afternoon, and especially, I don't know how to describe the atmosphere sitting here in my studio right now. It is, I don't know, surreal, I guess would be the word I could use right now without using, keeping it more than 4 letters. It is a very surreal day. The day after we celebrate our independence, we are slammed right in the face with a dereliction of duty, incompetence, corruption, and we now know that we have no friends in government anymore. We have, as of today, my friends, I'm sad to say, we have no friends in government. And it's up to us here, and God help us if come November we have Hillary Clinton as our president. God help us, because it's all over, my friends. We can't even rely on agencies that have for decades now been the really only bastion of objectivity that we have in this government. It's completely sold out to the leftist narrative, protecting the ass of somebody who should have been strung up years ago, decades ago, for some of the things that she has had her hands in. Deaths of people, not just of Benghazi. There's a long list of people that have been part of the Clinton conspiracies all along in the last 4 or 5 decades that are dead because of their association. Either they were eliminated because they were a danger to exposing something, or just because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. They knew too much. Secret Service agents. I think I once saw something in an account. 17 Secret Service agents that have worked with the Clintons over the years are now dead. How does stuff like that happen coincidentally? You know, Secretary Brown was a secretary, I believe, of the Defense, I believe, under Bill Clinton. I can't remember I know he was secretary of something. And dead. Committed suicide with a bullet to the back of his head, by the way. And just to make extra sure that nobody could find the body, was killed in an aircraft accident, I think over in Bosnia or something like that. Just weird stuff. I'm not going to go into a lot of it right now because it just makes me even more infuriated in addition to what I'm feeling right now. Total contempt for my government right now. Total contempt. So maybe Joe's feeling a little bit better. How you doing, Joe?
Oh, yes. I'm feeling much better than you, John. Welcome to the new age of tyrannical government that we are now. We are definitely in the age of tyranny. This 240 years ago, plus 1 day, is the reason why we had a Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
And today's the anniversary of its first printing out after it was signed and publicly read it to those in Philadelphia that fine July day. And now we have this. I guess we aren't able to handle the truth. Call me today. I guess we just can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
We just, Hillary Clinton is had an email server, and she intended to have an email server, But yet we can't handle the truth, and that's why Comey did what he did. And Loretta, and I actually watched these people. Is the Justice Department going to accept Comey's recommendation of no prosecution? Well, what do you think?
Yeah.
She just had a little meeting with Bill on Saturday. What do you think's going to happen? Oh my goodness, these people are acting. And I'm so sick of the media. This is not a game.
No.
Right out loud, this is not a game. People die from this kind of stuff. And I don't mean the Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton conspiracy kind of crap. I mean actually die because Hillary Clinton let out secret information, sensitive, classified, just sensitized information, and these people die from it.
Well, yeah, like I said, it's not just the Benghazi thing.
No.
These people have blood on their hands from decades ago. You know, the Vince Foster suicide, things like that. I mean, there was always and not only was Vince Foster, not only did he die, but the married couple, the McDougalls, I think their name was, who ended up in prison over this. You know, fell on their sword. There's been, it's just, the list is long. In fact, I may just dig that up sometime during the week here, just because if I'm going to have to face being grossed out by total corruption and negligence by a government agency that has for decades prided itself on the objectivity of what it stands for and what it's supposed to be doing, then you're going to have to deal with the grossness of what these Clintons are about. We're not just talking about political corruption. That in and of itself, we could probably brand 60 or 70 politicians in the last 4 or 5 decades where we could spend a whole show, we could spend a whole week talking about corrupted officials in government. That's not the point here. We're talking about people that have died, direct result of the actions of the Clintons. And nobody gives a rat's ass about that. And that is what is so painful about having to deal with this kind of stuff, is that everybody is just looking the other way for God knows what reason. I mean, if you're going to throw another leftist in there, if you want Obama 3.0, why in the hell did you guys pick Clinton as the person to carry the banner of Obamanism? I mean,
you know why, John? Because she was due to do it the last time, and they owed it to her.
Yeah,
this is just insanity. What's going on in this nation right now? And Comey should just flat out retire. He should. What you watched today, this announcement he made about not prosecuting Hillary Clinton, might as well have just been his resignation speech.
Yeah, he should have just put that. He should have put that just at the tail end of it. That's, you know, and now I just want to announce my resignation because this is just all a bunch of crap. And anyways, you know, but let me take just a minute here because we're going to talk about this today, and we're going to talk about the statements made by Comey, and the contradiction of statements, the contradiction of this stuff. How do you lay out all the charges? Do a beautiful job of saying this is what we did, this is what we found. And then follow that up with, but we're not going to do jack squat about it. I'm just like, anyway, we're going to do it. But I just, in a couple minutes here before we go to the break here, let's just examine Franklin Delano Roosevelt's cliche or quip that he once rendered to the public, and that is that nothing in politics happens by accident.
Absolutely.
Let's look at this. In the last 2 weeks, we had depositions from Brian Pagliano, the man who set up Clinton's email server. And he, in that deposition, took the Fifth Amendment 125 times. Why would you have to take the Fifth 125 times if you're not hiding something? If you're so afraid of being nailed to the wall for something, why would you continue to take the Fifth? And when you're granted immunity, still take the Fifth.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
What do you have to be afraid of? You've already been granted yes, the limited immunity, yet you still
I'll tell you what you have to be afraid of. You have to be afraid of that smoking gun that the Clintons carry around in their attaché case. And the reason it's a smoking gun is because they don't hesitate to use it.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no doubt in my mind this guy fears for his life.
He should.
Okay? Now, Huma Abedin, She gets her second deposition. And she basically comes out and tells everybody that everybody knew what Clinton was doing, and everybody went along with it. Okay, so
it didn't matter to Comey, though.
Okay, now we turn around and what? Just last week, early last week was it? The Benghazi report is issued, a scathing report issued by Trey Gowdy that did absolutely nothing to further the charges, the criminal charges against Hillary Clinton. And what's the conclusion they came up with? They were worried about Marines having to change their clothes because they didn't want to hurt the Libyans' feelings. That is it. That is the best they could come up with after 2.5 years and millions of dollars. Now we turn around and what is it, just in the middle of last week, towards the end of last week, Bill Clinton meets with Attorney General Lynch privately.
That was just this past Saturday.
Yeah, does it privately. Delays his own flights to make sure that he accidentally meets her by coincidence, sits on her plane for a half an hour, and the media makes a big deal about it for 48 hours, and then it goes the wayside. Clinton meets with the FBI on Monday. Not Monday, but over the weekend. Okay? And all of a sudden, everybody's talking about how, Clinton's she's not going to get indicted. Everybody's out there in the media, she's not going to get indicted. All her cronies, there's no way she's going to get indicted. It's not going to happen. I absolutely guarantee you, I think Clinton said it's not going to happen. And yet they want us to think that, they were just being positive. Okay?
Yeah, it's all happenstance.
Yeah, now today, FBI clears Clinton on the same day that Barack Obama begins his campaign with Hillary Clinton for her election. Now, tell me all this is just coincidence.
Well, I got some clip. After we come back from the break, we'll play this clip, and we'll just let what ABC News tell us about it.
Yeah, and it is just amazing, my friends. We have been sold a bill of goods here. Donald Trump is right. I'm beginning to like this guy more every day. It's just, this is rigged. And it is rigged big time. Who better to tell us than an establishment type that it's rigged? Okay? And as my, I don't like his delivery. I don't like his words. I don't really even like who he is. But damn it, he's on the mark right now. And God help us if he's not elected at this point. At this point, I think I put him. He'd be better than Ted Cruz right now. Anybody be better than this? Milk toast, for crying out loud. Anyway, we got to go to break. When we come back, you're going to hear angry white men rants all day today, folks.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so get your Oreo cookies and your milk and set it aside and join us as we release and vent on a government that we can no longer rely on in any way, shape, or form. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing, and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Okay, hey, we're back. And you're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and we are, I don't know if even the word loaded for bear is appropriate today. I want somebody's ass. I want somebody to hang for this. This is just beyond despicable. It's beyond. It's just out there. And as I said at the beginning of the show, folks, we got to change our whole attitude and our whole approach to this, because we have no friends in government and certainly no friends in media. It's us against them, guys. And Barack Obama, the guy that sits out here, the big uniter, has created this, or has taken the foundation, which has been built slowly over the last 5-6 decades by the left, and has taken this as a full frontal assault against Americans, against you and me. It's not about the Republicans and the Democrats anymore. It is about you and me. We are the target. It's not the opposition parties or anything else, because they're both singing the same song. It's just in a different key. This is about them against us. And as I was watching some of the stuff that I listened to or watched over the weekend regarding Independence Day, let's just take just a quick thing here, and then I'm going to give it to Joe here, because Joe's got some good stuff for us in this segment. It took the better part of 12 years for this country, or these colonies, to go from experiencing the tyranny of King George to the day that they finally said, okay, enough is enough. They declared their independence, and we celebrated that yesterday, Independence Day, the ratifying of the Declaration of Independence. And I believe this week, Friday, is Constitution Day. Am I right, Joe?
No, that's not until September.
Oh, September. Okay. We celebrate the day the Constitution was ratified. But my point being is that there were a lot of things that came down the pipe. And among those things, a lot of people don't understand this. A lot of people, I think, believe that the shots heard around the world, Lexington and Concord, the Battle of Bunker Hill. All these things took place after Independence Day. No, all these things took place before Independence Day. The taxation problems, the birthing or how the forced housing of English soldiers in private citizens' homes, the attempt to disarm Americans, and all this stuff took place over a period of 12 to 13 years before finally they said, okay, enough is enough. And now we have to do this. We have to do this. And that's what makes it so surreal. Because as I'm watching this stuff yesterday, several documentaries over the course of the day, and I'm sitting there, you know what? Are we not in the same position right now, only from within our own government? The government we created to do away with the tyranny of the English Parliament and King. And here we are with our own King and Parliament, sitting here just doing everything they can to subject us to their collectivism, all for their personal gain.
Yeah, it's not for our benefit; it's for their benefit.
Yeah, I mean, let's understand something.
These rules, they don't play under the rules that we're subjected to, as they treat us like subjects.
Yeah, now I mean, let's put this in context. At least the English Parliament acted in the spirit of trying to preserve England. Okay, it wasn't a bunch of people in Parliament thinking, okay, I want to protect my job or anything. They literally had the idea that, you know, their loyalty to the king, and we're protecting our the sovereignty of the king and the makeup of our nation and everything else. They were as pure in their ideals as the American colonists were in their rejection of those ideals. Here it's completely different. Now today what we have is we have a president who wants to bring about tyranny for what? For personal gain, for personal satisfaction, to appease his ego. And because he's such a narcissist, and he has this psychopathic personality disorder that he's got to make himself messianic and the answer to all things so that he feels good about himself. I mean, I'm telling you, the guy should have committed suicide decades ago. Because anybody that psychopathic has got to just be out there. I mean, I'm talking about people that this guy thinks like people like Hitler and Stalin and people like this, Napoleon. These people that just thought, you know, I am God's gift to the world. But the Congress that we have, it's all about self-preservation. It's not about preserving anything as a nation. Any concept of what the United States as a republic, nothing about that. It's about saving their own damn asses. And so that they can leave, when they finally do get out of Congress after 60 years in Congress, they can serve as a lobbyist for somebody to pollute the next generation that's coming up. And that's what's despicable about this. So guys, we got to do something about this. We don't clean house. We don't get our act together and get somebody in there that can at least stop the bleeding. The hell with it. The hell with it. We might as well just pack it in. We'll become the United States Socialist Republic. That's all. Okay, I'm going to get off that because I'm getting ready to really unload here. Joe, you wanted to talk about the media, right?
All right, John. So settle down for just a second. As our, just our other friends out there, we got the government, but we also have our friends in the media out there who are just so happy. ABC, remember ABC has George Stephanopoulos, former Clintonite, who's quote unquote now a media kind of person, a journalist, air quotes here, big finger air quotes, journalist George Stephanopoulos. And this was this was a momentous day for Hillary Clinton. So let's just listen to ABC News go about their happy, joyfully, gleefully report on what Comey told us today.
Look, the big news here, the big headline is there is no indictment here, no indictment of Hillary Clinton, no indictment of any of her top aides, no indictment of anybody in this case. But this is an this is quite a reprimand of her.
I think it's damaging. I mean, it's interesting. It's simultaneously freeing and damaging in the course of this. This is going to be dropped in the midst, as you know, George, in the midst of a divisive, polarized environment where Democrats and supporters of Hillary are going to celebrate this, saying, see, nothing was done wrong. But Republicans and Trump supporters are going to say, see, she did a whole bunch wrong. And that's, I think, going to be the conversation from her. I think this is a momentous day. You have some of these in the course of these presidential races where races pivot. This is one of those days, and each side has some amount of evidence to make their conclusions accurate.
I think this is a very hard day for Hillary Clinton. It was extraordinary. It's one of the most extraordinary things I've seen in my many years in Washington. The FBI director coming out and reading these basically charges, even though he doesn't think there should be a criminal charge, and saying at the beginning, no one in government knows what I am about to say. That is extremely extraordinary. Her judgment has been called into doubt.
One level, even though this report is kind of damning, the announcement of no indictment before that first joint campaign stop between the two kind of clears the decks for him as well.
And the timing is so extraordinary here, George. And you think that you have Air Force One on the tarmac, ready to take them down to this first campaign appearance together. But this whole process has been a cloud hanging over the head of Hillary Clinton and her campaign. So that cloud is lifted.
Yeah, that cloud's been lifted. Yeah, the fact is, isn't it just great that they were able to get together and go down to Charlotte, North Carolina today and have a little campaign fun. It's just a momentous day. And have Comey come out and say, no one knows what I was going to tell him. Oh, really, Mr. Comey?
Yeah.
The fact that you're telling us that nobody else knew about it pretty much tells me that other people knew about it.
Well, boy, I had a really nice comment I was going to make there for a second. I'm kind of what's the word? I'm walking cautiously right now because I am so on the verge of just igniting. Just going. Anyway. This whole, I don't know how to put it. I'm not going to say anything until I get my thoughts right because
just to have this is just typical of the media, especially ABC with Stephanopoulos to me. Oh, that's a great day. You had Jonathan Carl and then Cokie Roberts there. It's an extraordinary day. Now this cloud has been lifted off of Hillary. She's had the Benghazi cloud lifted up, and now this cloud's lifted up. Now she can just feel free to roam about the earth and just spread happiness and cheer throughout the land as she touches her little subjects as she goes upon her day campaigning to be POTUS. Oh yes, Hillary, thank you so much for allowing us to be in your presence.
Yeah, it is. Oh, I will say one thing. It is a monumentous day. It is, definitely. The only thing I heard out of that whole clip that I thought was relevant was, yes, this is a monumentous day. This is the day that it became clear and apparent that the entire U.S. government is completely corrupt. The entire U.S. government. Yeah. I mean, we've known for a while the State Department was in the bag. I mean, the whole process as this thing played out, we knew that. As far as Benghazi, as far as this server situation, we understood that. We know the Department of Homeland Security is a racket. And the only thing, what it really should be, they should really become the new immigration department because that's what they're there for. They're there to pave the way for another demographic that the United States can allow into this country that will support. And see, here's the irony. One of the ironies of all this, let's say that, everybody took the bait. Everybody bought the lie and said, let's bring all these Syrian refugees in. Huh. Okay? And let's just simulate them into our society because that's what Americans do. That's who we are. That kind of thing. Yeah, and now you start getting these people in power. We've already seen this. You go to places like Dearborn, Michigan, and you go over to Europe, go over to England. People just pulled out of the European Union. And you see what happens when Sharia law begins to get integrated into the system. All the people that the liberals are trying to defend, including the liberals themselves, would be the first to be beheaded if these people get into power. Listen, let's make no mistake about that. So the irony of this whole thing, but the irony is irrelevant right now, because right now our ass is on the chopping block. It is do or die now. It is do or die. It is us or them. Yeah. If Donald Trump does not get elected in November, or anybody else but Hillary Clinton, pack it up, guys. It's done. It's over. And I know that's negative, but I'm going to keep saying it because that's the truth. We got to go to a break. When we come back, we'll continue right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds, and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest. Who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923, and like them on Facebook, and you'll be included in contests and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally caught up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, and bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474.
Okay, hey, we're back. You're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And I have been taking deep breaths here, chugging down ice water, kind of cool myself off a little bit. And Joe said something just for the break here. You know, we listen to the media heads out there talking about how, you know, the cloud has lifted and everything is just going to be hunky-dory. Because we know from this point on, it's going to be the mantra of the Clinton campaign is going to be, it's yesterday's news. This was the objective all along. We've talked about it so many times in this show about the way the Clintons do things. And, you know, first it's denial, then it's spin, and then it's blame, and then it's the vast right-wing conspiracy, and it wears everybody down. And at some point in time, even as in this case, when all the evidence points to a crime, then it just gets tossed aside. The idea that the FBI director, James Comey, sat here today and for 13 minutes laid out very well the entire case against Clinton. This is what we were told to do. This is what we did, and this is what we found. And in every statement was something along the line of, we found this, and we found that it was done wrong. We found that there was compromises. We found that there was negligence. We found all this stuff. And then to come out and say, but no prosecutor, no reasonable prosecutor, there's a phrase for you.
Yeah.
Okay, no reasonable prosecutor would seek charges against Hillary Clinton. So I'm just that in and of itself. Okay, so if anybody did, I guess that means they're unreasonable prosecutors.
Yeah, exactly, they'd be unreasonable and partisan and all this because you know the FBI doesn't want to have an effect on the nation's elections.
Yeah, but did just have an effect on the nation's elections. Okay,
absolutely did. Yes.
But what I said earlier when we started the show, I laid out to you the sequence of events that's taken place in the last 2 weeks. And I'll tell you why the events have taken place in the last 2 weeks in the way they have. It's not to exonerate Hillary Clinton.
Not at all.
It was to exonerate Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. That's what this was about. This was about clearing the air before Barack Obama hit the campaign trail with Hillary Clinton, because I guess in his mind, well, Hillary was due this, and the remarks that he made today in North Carolina, which I'm just going to highlight a couple things here.
Oh, gee, do you have to?
Well, I'm going to, because it's important for, I think, our listeners to understand.
Okay.
That this all came down right now. At first, I thought it was because of the convention, but it's not because of the convention. It's because everything at this point, you guys have got to get hold of this. Everything that occurs right now in politics is about protecting Barack Obama and his legacy. Every time something comes up that it could possibly put him in a bad light, something else surfaces from somewhere to distract from him.
You mean like a nuclear weapon going off in Paris?
Yeah, or, what was it, Bangladesh?
Or Bangladesh, yes.
Yeah. We rich Saudi Arabian kids, teenagers, young men, I guess. Rich. No, we're not talking about the poor. I guess they didn't hear about the Obama's solution to the Middle East problem of having job fairs so that people don't feel disenfranchised, and that's why they're out rioting in the streets. These are people that all come from affluent. In fact, some of them have parents that are in the government. Okay, and they're out there shooting people up out in Bangladesh, that kind of thing. We've heard squat about that.
Oh, yeah, killing people because they couldn't recite verses out of the Quran.
Right, and why is that? Well,
Or
because
as Obama puts it, the Holy Quran.
It puts Obama in a bad light. His lead from behind, his inaction, his protection of Islam, and everything else. So what happens? This all comes up at this point. But this was because Obama didn't want to do anything for Clinton until everything became yesterday's news. So you can't tie Obama to this. So I think one of the first things I remember hearing when he first started even floating the idea out there that he was going to endorse Hillary Clinton. This is the first time we've had a sitting president endorse somebody under FBI investigation for criminal charges and endorse him for president. You can't have that. So now, well, what do we have to have? We've got to have exoneration. So at least the deadheads that make up the left demographics will buy into that. They can't tell you what Hillary Clinton's ever done. She's great. She's a great secretary. She was a great Secretary of State. She was a great senator. Even her fellow senators can't tell you anything she did. Dianne Feinstein said, well, she was only in office 9 years. That's hardly enough time to do anything. Okay? So, this is all about Obama, because what's happening here is that Hillary now has to ride the coattails of Obama.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So what did Obama say today, John?
Well, he's ready to pass the baton. That's one of the things he said. He's ready to pass the baton, and he said she's a brilliant, level-headed stateswoman who could lead the country in these tumultuous times. Here's what I get. Here's the comment that caught my eye, though.
Uh-oh.
Okay, he's talking about how he came to admire Clinton as the two competed in the bitter Democratic primary in 2008. And why he ultimately decided to make her Secretary of State. He says, I saw again and again how even when things didn't go her way, she just stands up straighter and comes back stronger. She just kept on going. She was the Energizer Bunny. She just kept on.
Oh, you mean like that one that visits Bill all the time that the Secret Service called the Energizer Bunny?
Oh, well, I guess. But the analogy, I think, is kind of fitting. But anyway.
Sorry.
For reasons I will not go on because this is a family show.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, but anyway, here it is. The reason Hillary Clinton comes back stronger is because she knows how to just become more corrupt. It isn't that
he didn't say that.
Yeah, it isn't that she's smart.
That's not what he said. That's what you said.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
She's saying that she stands up straighter and she comes back stronger. I'm saying no. She just comes back with more corruption.
Yeah, she comes back with more stuff to pin on somebody to use against them.
She's like, I'm the queen bitch, for crying out loud, and if you don't like it, I will destroy you. Okay, there's just nothing about unusual about this, or nothing unfamiliar about it with anybody that's followed the Clintons over the past 50, 60 years that they've been around. It's that these people annihilate anybody that gets in their way. Now, if you want to identify that, or you want to claim that as being standing straighter and coming back stronger. Yeah, coming back stronger. Yeah, she knows how to break out the big guns. She knows how to destroy people, and it makes has no hesitation in doing it. And I'm at the point right now. I'm kind of wondering if she's sitting off on the side. Somebody's sitting off on the side right now, saying, "You know what? I'm not so sure we should have Bill campaign for her anymore, because I think he's becoming a liability. We might find him with a bullet in the back of his head." Before this thing is all over.
Settle down there now. You can't be doing that against or former presidents.
I'm just telling you, I put nothing past this woman. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I used to think Clinton was Clinton is the brains of the operation, that's for sure. Okay, but Hillary's the balls. Okay, let's not screw this up here. Let's put things in their proper place. She's been carrying his testicles around in a jar for at least 30 years now. So anyway, this comment by Clinton by Obama is basically, yeah, she's a trooper, she's a fighter, and but it isn't about the country. again, she is the female version of Barack Obama. She's a narcissist. She's like, I am because I am, you know?
Yeah, none of this is about the betterment of our nation. This is all about it's all about them.
Yeah.
It's not about people. And to have people sit there and applaud them, it's like, seriously, are you on drugs?
Yeah, now, listen, I mean, here's the thought here. We got to go to the break here. But just think about this during our commercial break. I saw this the other day. It was just a headline I saw. How did the Clintons, who have been in public service, quote unquote, for the past 50 years plus, accumulate $2.5 million net worth?
Yeah.
Okay, somebody explain that to me. I understand how Feinstein and Boxer did it. They married rich men. Okay, and they used maybe their political influence to help their husbands, who are men on, good, rich businessmen on their own. But Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton have amassed $200 million. And by the way, only since the time that Bill Clinton got out of office, if the records are right. But my point being, how did that happen if she is, quote unquote, a public servant? Okay, we'll be right back, guys. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
We're back. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. Visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. We're going to have Don Dix with us the second hour here, and I've got some clips from FBI Director Comey today. We're going to talk about. We'll probably do it during Don's segment because I've got to get this crap off my chest here, or I'm going to explode.
I wonder what Don wants to talk about today.
Yeah, I wonder what he wants to talk about today. I'm reading an article here written by Liz Goodwin over at Yahoo, and this pretty much encapsulates what Joe was talking about, if that's the right word. Is that the right word, encapsulates?
Encapsulates, yeah, encapsulates. Yeah,
okay, encapsulates, okay, whatever, forgive my Bushisms, that's just the way I am. But anyway, she writes this article in the leftist slant, about Obama's out there campaigning for Clinton today. And one of the things, as I mentioned just briefly, I just want to reiterate this one point here, that the Clinton campaign hopes Obama, whose approval rating is higher than at any time since he announced Osama bin Laden's death, can counter Clinton's high unfavorable ratings and help unify the Democrat Party, which is still fractured after this year's long primary campaign, meaning Bernie Sanders.
Bernie.
Right? Okay. Sanders has still not conceded or endorsed her, even though she locked up the nomination weeks ago by, again, superdelegates If she didn't have the super delegate, she'd be 100 delegates short right now.
I'm a super delegate.
Yeah. So the idea, again, here's a woman that Obama in one breath is telling us is sharp, brilliant, can handle everything, but who's out there telling everybody that if she gets elected, her husband's going to handle the economic issues, and she wants to ride the coattails of Barack Obama's popularity. She's hoping that he gets her elected. Okay, now it says here in the talk that Obama gave today that he did tackle some of the arguments that have been made against Clinton, including that she has been in politics for too long. Okay, and now let's not forget, this was Obama's mantra when he ran for office, that the establishment was destroying Washington, and he's going to change. It's the Hope and Change campaign, and the transparency, all the things that he was going to do that was going to unify the country and do away with all the special interest in Washington and everything else.
Who was this? Barack Obama said that?
Yeah. Remember that? Clinton was the establishment.
Holy cow, what happened?
2008, but now apparently that doesn't mean anything.
Oh.
Okay, so this is his way of brushing it off. This is his way of playing it. He says, Obama did, however, tackle some of the arguments. I'm reading from Liz Goodwin just directly here, that have been made against Clinton, including that she has been in politics for too long. He said he benefited from being a fresh face in 2008 and that the country likes novelty. We're a young country, so we like new things, Obama said. That means voters can take those who have been in the trenches, there's liberal speak for establishment, for granted. See, people have took Hillary Clinton for granted because she's an establishment. She's been in the trenches for so long that people just take that for granted. Okay? The fact is, Hillary is steady. Hillary is true. And I'm ready to pass the baton. Okay? So now all of a sudden, it's good to be the establishment. Okay? Here's a man that built his whole campaign as a clean slate. That's how he referred to himself. Talked about the need for change in Washington. Talked about the unifying of the country, and that was brought about by the division that was in Washington. Of course, we know that has multiplied and magnified way beyond, probably off the scale now.
So are you saying that was a prevarication that Barack Obama was handing everybody, or just to point it out, not lie?
Just out-and-out propaganda. I mean, is that not the foundation of liberalism? Truth is relative. Everything that is good today is bad tomorrow, and everything that's bad today is good tomorrow. And it all depends on what fits the narrative, when the narrative needs to be expanded upon or articulated on.
Exactly, because the sun out here today is too damn hot, but in the wintertime, the sun is beautiful. It's great. It's keeping things warm.
Yeah. If it's too hot out there, it's that damn climate change. It's that damn climate change that's caused by those damn rich Republicans.
Yep.
By the way, the same damn rich Republicans that apparently are giving money to Hillary too. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
And then if it rains, of course, well, that's because of climate change too. Because it gets so hot that the water evaporates faster, and so it rains. I'm like, okay, well. Somebody tell us that out here in California, because that ain't happening.
And those darn cows keep on putting methane into the air.
Yeah. So what you've got here now, what really happened is, and if you don't know this, I'm sure most of you do, if you listen to this show and some of the other shows that are out there, but if you listen to this show, because we take it to the extreme, the point being is that Hillary basically put her tail between her legs in 2008 and said, okay, I'll suck it up. Let's give it to the black guy. And now it's like, okay, now it's my turn. Okay, I'll give everybody their testicles back once I'm elected.
Yeah, it's going to be my turn next. It's my turn. It's my turn next.
Right, and her platform is about the total emasculation of America. It's every man needs to be castrated, and every woman needs to grow a pair. Okay, that's what this is all about at this time around. It's going to be, you guys are so tired of the race card, don't worry about it. You're not going to have to worry about that too much longer. It's all going to be about the gender card now.
Yeah, or the lack of gender.
Yeah, or lack of gender. Okay, or the transgender. You know,
is that like trans fat?
I don't know. Maybe we need to create a new ideology or new political identity. We'll call it the trans politician. The trans politician. You can be anything you want on any given day.
Is that like between life and death?
Well, you can be a Democrat today and a Republican tomorrow, and an independent and libertarian if you feel like it.
Well, yeah. Well, we already kind of have that already. I mean, just look at who won't do their damn job, i.e., Congress. Because Congress could put a stop to this, but no, I think they really like what's going on right now. Otherwise, they would put a stop to this.
Oh, I know. The best Paul Ryan could come up with today with Comey's statements is that it's unexplainable. It's beyond explanation. Well, you wouldn't be able to explain it anyways, Paul.
Yeah, I could write him a letter, but what's the point?
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be able to read it. Yeah.
I mean, he's just not Mr. Nealon, Paul Nealon for Congress 2016. Take over for the folks in Wisconsin and Brian's district. Please, everybody, support him. If you're in Wisconsin, get rid of Paul Ryan, for crying out loud. These people have got to go.
Yeah, and I don't know how we can say it in any other way. If we allow this to take place, if we allow this woman to get in the White House, let's remember what's going to happen here. The Democrats are already talking about wanting constitutional amendments. Now, they're not mentioning the first, second, or fifth. They're attacking that. But they're talking about adding constitutional amendments that feed the liberal mentality.
Oh, yeah. Well, you'd have to go ahead and have a constitutional amendment to take away the Second Amendment. I mean, it's just ridiculous. That's how you had to get rid of prohibition.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're going to have another amendment. No, they're going to get the states to ratify this. Just the fact that they want to attempt it is very telling, don't you think?
Oh yeah, it's extremely telling. And I'm just sitting here as you're talking here. I'm calling up my notes from last week because I think I had something in my notes here about some of the things that the platform is being talked about in the Democrat Party. Maybe I'll look for it during the break here and see if I can find it.
Here's some other news that happened over the weekend, just in case people are wondering. But if they're talking about gun control, okay, there were 4 dead and 60 others shot in Chicago over the weekend. Hey, Brock, what about those guns?
Yeah, the gun control, the one of the strictest gun control cities in the entire country, and it was 60 or more people shot over the weekend in Chicago.
Yes.
Wow.
Guess what? There were a couple children done that way. I mean, for crying out loud, it's for the children, for crying out loud. What about it, Barack? What about it, Hillary?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. No, we won't talk about that, will we, mainstream media?
No, we don't want to talk about that because that would put things in an unfavorable light. We don't want to bring back that dark cloud that's been hanging over the Clinton campaign because of all these indiscretions.
Oh, my. Well, Bernie's still out there. Can he be the black cloud? I mean, come on, Bernie. Come on. Get your cloud going.
Yeah. Okay, guys. We're coming up at the top of the hour here, and we're going to be playing an Edwards notebook here, and then we're going to pay some bills, and then we'll be back. We'll probably tie some loose ends up here in our short segment after the hour, and then, of course, Don Dix is supposed to be with us, and we'll see what he has to say about what took place today. A monumentous day here in America, and for what it's worth, may just be the straw that breaks the camel's back. But we'll see. It remains to be seen. As I said, God help us if it turns out the way it looks like it just might turn out. Let's just hope Trump does something right here and gets his act together and knows how to turn this thing around and put this all back into the Clinton camp. We'll be right back, guys. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
Some people say that it's all over for America, while others, like me, believe the best is yet to come. What say you? Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, we all can recite the myriad of setbacks that currently beset our remarkable republic. The Obama administration has seriously damaged every major pillar of society, Stagnation dominates the economy, and bad morale permeates the military. Government school education is now worse than ever before, and that's just for starters. The giants of destruction of America seem to be everywhere, including the thousands of terrorists roaming our streets, looking to kill, steal, and destroy. But you know what? The bigger the giants are, the harder they fall. The Bible says the power of life and death are in the tongue. In ancient Israel, 10 men were sent out to spy out the land to report on the odds of the children of Israel taking the promised land for themselves. 8 said it's impossible, but 2 said we can take the giants and the land. America, the choice is ours, to either fold up in defeat or stand and believe that it's not over for our republic. Yes, we as a nation have stumbled, but I believe we the people, through providential guidance, will soon reignite the torch of liberty and fulfill our God-ordained manifest destiny of greatness. I'm Ron Edwards.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require. Cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey, all you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet. Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Akos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
All right, hey, we're back. Hour 2 right here at the Conservative Syndicate, and I'm sitting here a little dyslexia kicking in here right now. I'm busy doing some checking on some things here to point out. I had mentioned before the break here about the desire of the Democrats to have at least 2 constitutional amendments passed should they gain the White House. And, of course, that would mean also taking over the majority in probably both the Senate and the House. The Senate right now, who knows how that's going to go. The House, I don't think they'll be able to do it. They may pick up some seats. I don't know how this is all going to play out at this point because we just don't know how far the Gruber theorem has advanced, the stupidity of the American voter. But it remains to be seen. But anyway, my point that I was trying to make was that the idea, or what some of the Democrats are pointing out, is they want constitutional amendments that will deal with campaign finance reform. Now, off the top of my head, outside of the fact that this is just total hypocrisy, I mean, we're talking about the Democrats have some of the most lucrative super PACs out there. And they so much want to overturn the Supreme Court ruling. I believe it has to do with Citizens United about private money coming into the campaigns and stuff like that. Which is, for Democrats, they would die if they didn't have that kind of money. So it's not about campaign finance reform.
It's about hypocrisy of it all. It's about they don't like the fact that corporations were able to, so people incorporated could give money to campaigns. Oh, but they were not they were all more than happy to have unions give contributions to them for decades.
Well, my thought is this is just my thought on this, that this is an issue that should they be able to pull it off, this is something that probably if it was floated out in the public arena, out in the public square, most Americans would say, yeah, we need to do something. But it's the same argument that is being floated with things like gun control and the First Amendment, is that,
these people don't only have half the story. They don't even understand the whole story.
Yeah, so my thought is, this is my thought. This is one of those issues that would be a little easier to get by the American public. And that is, to actually get to pressure Congress into going along with this and saying, yeah, let's enact some kind of finance reform. But here's the point that I want to just point this out to you here. And that is that the opposite end of that is that they want government subsidies for politicians that are running. If we limit finance campaign reform, okay, if we limit the amount of money that can come into the coffers,
yes,
well, we have to make up for that somehow.
Okay.
So the idea, the trade-off is, what we'll do is we'll subsidize campaigns through taxpayer dollars. Okay? Now, think about that just for a minute.
When you say subsidize, that's exactly right. You want the taxpayers to pay for their campaigns.
Yeah, we want the taxpayers to subsidize these campaigns. And because of that, something else falls into our lap, guys.
That's insane.
So now our taxes are going to go to elect politicians that we don't like.
Yeah, that don't listen to us to begin with.
So it just gets better, folks. But even beyond that, here's my point, though. If you take an issue like this, it would probably be very popular in the eyes of the public, and you could get something like this done. You could actually get a constitutional amendment done on campaign reform. Okay, I don't know what that has to do with the Constitution, but let's say they could do it. All right, nothing they do has anything to do with the Constitution anyway. So they're able to do it. All right, but now that paves the way for now coming back after the gun control and First Amendment rights and say, okay, well, we did it once, and you use that same argument because that's what they're using. We've got to do something to stop all this violence. We've got to do something to stop the hate speech. And now you've paved the way using what you've done is you've got a kind of conditioning thing going on where you can now it's all about constitutional amendments. We don't need executive orders anymore. Let's pass constitutional amendments to turn this into a pure democracy, ruled by the mob kind of thing.
That's exactly what the nice loving Nazis did. Let's make the Jews out to be the bad people. They're the root of all evil, and then eventually, let's do that. They're all got to get rid of the Jews now. And hello. And the next thing you know, we're putting it in gas chambers because, they made the argument.
Yeah, well, if we get ourselves, everybody, we get more and more people on the watch list and stuff like that, and we say, well, you know what, the watch list is getting too big. So maybe we need to start picking some of these people off. Okay,
Congressman as a terrorist. Here's why he opposes the new gun ban. It was a Representative Tom McClintock of Republican out of California discovered that he was on the FBI watch list.
Yeah, well, I can understand it. McClintock is probably one of the few hardcore conservatives we have out here in California.
Well, he was left stranded at the Sacramento International Airport.
Yeah. I really kind of wish that guy had enough backing, enough money. He could run. He'd be a great governor. He would really be a good governor out here.
So much for your great FBI watch list.
Yeah. So anyway, hey guys, we got to go to a quick break here. When we come back, we'll have Don Dix with us from Act for America. I don't know what he'll want to talk about, but I would imagine it'd be the FBI press conference today. We'll be right back, guys. Stay with us. Let's see if I can. Okay, there we go. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back on Moments of Madness. Globalist elites and the media lapdogs that shore up their ranks woke up this past Friday morning and in more than a few cases surprisingly found themselves forced to deal with immediate as well as possible long-term damage to their reputations and bank accounts ravaged by the electoral storm named Brexit that hit Europe the night before. While a few proponents of the New World Order downplayed to the public the UK's exit from the EU as nothing more than a tremor brought about by a disgruntled workforce not feeling the utopian aura wealth redistribution promises but never delivers, there is much to indicate the UK's decision is the beginning of the perfect storm, one that may actually generate an ideological tsunami that could reshape the geopolitical landscape to a degree not felt since the fall of the Berlin Wall and the Soviet Union. This tsunami could possibly not only reach the shores of their neighboring European counterparts, but around the globe as far as North America, Asia, and even below the equator. The bloc that makes up the United Kingdom, Britain, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland, while divided nationally with Scotland and Northern Ireland favoring to remain in the EU, while Britain and Wales choosing to leave together ended up posting a 52% majority that rejected the paradigm of globalism as an effective and preferred form of government. This indictment of collective ideologies that feed the egos and ledgers of power-hungry elitists becomes even more damning when we view the outcome was achieved in spite of massive campaign spending by EU members, trade threats rendered by world leaders like Barack Obama, and prophecies of financial doom by billionaire hedge fund managers like George Soros and Warren Buffett. The stability of the sterling pound appears not to have been the concern of the British people, but rather an instinctive understanding their very existence as a nation and people is at risk of being decimated by uncontrolled immigration. It's as if they are channeling the spirit of another rebel, that being Benjamin Franklin, who warned over 240 years ago, they who can give up essential liberty to obtain a little temporary safe deserve neither liberty nor safety. Rather than cave to the fear-mongering that has for too long been effective in keeping the masses in line, the common theme we can take from this is enough is enough. Throw the bums out. Here's the madness. Like the graffiti etched into the clay walls of imploding Rome or painted on the Berlin Wall in plain sight for all to see. Ideological collectivism touted in any form, regardless of perceptions of good intent conveyed by its proponents and planners, will only be tolerated by those subjected to it until such time as it can be obliterated by the very people it enslaves. Yet those who hold dogmatically to various hybrids of communism continue to perpetuate the deception that to surrender one's individuality and the rights inherent to such stature in favor of joining the ranks of true believers is the only true means by which universal peace and socio-economic order can be sustained, in spite of all historical evidence to the contrary. Is it willful ignorance of the obvious, or an undeterred determination to do what's right? I think not. It's because deception serves as a means to an end, their end. And while it may be true to some degree, those who join the ranks of true believers may obtain a little temporary safety and security, as Franklin once quipped, natural law mandates they eventually rejoin the ranks of the disgruntled and disenfranchised to once again roam the decrepit streets ravaged by collective barbarism, with little choice but to tag graffiti on the decaying walls of the stores they loot. And the storm begins another cycle. Such it is right now across America. We, the benefactors of the great experiment of republicanism, face our own storm. This storm, not unlike the one that hit Europe this past week, threatens our very existence as a republic, a nation, and a people should we not take the necessary steps to prepare for it. For if we continue to listen to the words that form the empty promises elicited by both sides of our political establishments, should we continue to believe things will take care of themselves, should we continue to pray to our God for deliverance in spite of our rejection of Him, then we may find ourselves lamenting another great statement from Benjamin Franklin. You have a republic if you can keep it. This storm may be the last opportunity for us, perhaps forever. This is John Matthews for Moments of Madness. All right, hey, we're back. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I want to remind you, visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. Pick up this show, any of our shows. Find out anything you want to know about the show, the people that appear on it. It's all there at theconservativesyndicate.net. We've got Don Dix with us doing his weekly contribution here. Boy, it couldn't be a better day in America today. What do you think, Don?
It's a great day for America. Apparently, for a certain portion of the population, the rule of law no longer applies.
Yeah, well, I can't think of anything personally that has impacted me in the way that it did today. It's been quite a while since something just basically like I felt like I was hit in the chest with a baseball bat as I listened to James Comey make a perfect case for all the reasons why this woman should be indicted, and then ended up and say, but we don't think any reasonable prosecutor would take this on and file charges.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounded good. I mean, you're right. Today was a gut punch for anybody that is paying attention to what's going on. Of course, if you're not paying attention to it and you only watch the mainstream media headlines, what you're reading is FBI clears Hillary based on intent, which, as we have heard and as we'll dig into, intent is only one part of it. You know, the other part of it, quite frankly, is what she was guilty of. She's guilty of, this, she's guilty of the.
She's guilty of compromising classified information. That's it. Joe and I. Let me interrupt you here because let's put this in context. Intent has absolutely nothing, squat, nada, to do with what she did. Joe and I have both worked in the military. We've both worked with security clearances, and the first thing you are told when you're dealing with classified information, if you compromise information, they don't care what your intent was. They don't care if it was done by accident, it was intentional. They don't care how it comes down the pipe. If you compromise, you have compromised. It is a crime, and you're going to pay for it. Period. There is no discussion about intent at all. Absolutely none.
Well, you're exactly right. Title 18 of the United States Code, Section 793F, does not require intent.
Bingo.
Andy McCarthy has a great article today out on this. And, essentially she was negligent is really what it boils down to.
Mm-hmm. Extreme.
And, yeah, I mean, that's ultimately the what matters here. She was guilty of, and the FBI had. I'm in such. Can you tell? It's such a loss of words here. The FBI essentially rewrote federal law to let Hillary off the hook. The term I was looking for was.
Nobody else knew about this except him.
What do you mean?
Well, yeah, that was one of the first disclaimers he put out there today, was that up until today, nobody had any idea what he was going to come out there and say, that the Clinton campaign wasn't tipped off at anything. Bill Clinton didn't know anything when he met with Loretta Lynch. Certainly President Barack Obama didn't know anything. This is my contention is that at this point in the game, this really wasn't about exonerating Hillary Clinton. This was about protecting Barack Obama.
Well, that may be, but isn't it interesting that the press conference is held almost as Air Force One is in the air with both Obama and Clinton on it, on their way to North Carolina for the first campaign stop in which Obama is going to appear beside Hillary Clinton? Come on.
Yeah. We were talking about this earlier. First of all, why is Hillary Clinton being flown at taxpayer expense on Air Force One to go on a campaign trip? That's the first thing. I mean, nobody's even asking that question. That's the most obvious. The second thing is, today, Josh Earnest, he was asked from the press, what's the president think about this? Obama's not going to comment on this at all. This is about protecting his legacy. And all this stuff we laid everything out about how in just the last 2 weeks, everything had to come to a conclusion so that Barack Obama could step out into the public realm and they could basically use the argument that Hillary Clinton has been exonerated. Therefore, Obama's not really the first president that has endorsed somebody who's been under FBI investigation.
Well, the FBI totally Comey today politicized the FBI. He dishonored the Constitution and the rule of law. He provided huge amounts of information that could, badly hamstring her. Sure, I mean, we're going to be dissecting this for the better part of probably the next couple of weeks, right up till the Democratic National Convention. But by the way, I have a name for the trip down to North Carolina. Snakes on the Plane version 2.
That's funny.
I mean, the idea that that she should get off. I mean, and he even said it right at the end of his press conference as he was getting ready to dump the money line of the whole press conference, that he wasn't, that no prosecutor would be able to find this case. First of all, I thought it was a grand jury that had to be convened, that it wasn't just up to the DOJ, but that's maybe a detail that's lost on me because I don't understand all the ins and the outs. But right there at the end, he said no person would, escape prosecution under this set of circumstances. But there wasn't enough evidence to rise to a prosecution. Therefore, he's not going to recommend or refer criminal action.
Yeah, his argument is basically that he's trying to establish the lack of intent, as you said earlier. That's his argument. And so he's taking something that's completely out of the law. Classified information and the handling of it has nothing to do with constitutional law or even social law. It has to do with the handling of classified information. It's its own entity. And he tried to paint it within the context of, did she have a bad intent? Did anybody on the staff have an intent? And so he's trying to take it out of the realm of the agency in which it's supposed to be prosecuted and treated and put it into – this is the same as taking people down at Gitmo and putting them into public court system.
Well, here's what Don's trying to say here. Here, let me just read it here. To be clear, this is not to suggest that in similar circumstances, a person who engaged in this activity would face no consequences. To the contrary, those individuals are often subject to security or administrative sanctions. But that is not what we are doing. That's not what we are deciding now. And it's just funny as crap as I go to our friends in the Navy Times, and this was published July of last year. A naval reservist was sentenced for mishandling classified military materials. A federal attorney announced Wednesday that Brian Nishimura of Folsom, California, pleaded guilty to an unauthorized removal and retention of classified materials. Nishimura, deployed to Afghanistan in 2007 and 2008 as a regional engineer, admitted to downloading classified briefings and digital records onto his personal electronic devices. He carried these materials off base and brought them back to the U.S. when his deployment ended. An FBI search in Nishimura's home turned up classified materials, but did not reveal the evidence he intended. Did not reveal evidence he intended to distribute them. He was sentenced, here you go, to 2 years of probation and $7,500 fine in order to surrender security clearance. He is barred from seeking a future security clearance.
And that's one of the points Rudy Giuliani said if Hillary Clinton had to apply for a security clearance today, she would be denied, if not for the fact that, a president. Here's the thing. In order to give Mrs. Clinton a pass, the FBI had to rewrite the statute, inserting an intent element that Congress, in writing the law, did not require.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
They can't do that.
Yeah. What I want to do, Don, we've broken down part of Comey's conference today into 4 segments. We've taken the ones that pissed us off the most and put them in a clip here. I want to play the first one here, and I want to get your comment on this because this is, as I said, he did such a great job of laying the case out. As I was listening to him and going, oh, man, he's actually going to do this. He's going to indict her. Because the way he was laying it out, I was like, yeah, he's doing this. And it just completely, just like I said, hit me in the chest. But I want to play this first clip and get your comment on it here before we go to break. This is at the beginning of his press conference when he's laying out what they were assigned to do. This is James Comey.
This investigation began as a referral from the Intelligence Community Inspector General in connection with Secretary Clinton's use of a personal email server during her time as Secretary of State. The referral focused on whether classified information was transmitted on that personal system. Our investigation looked at whether there is evidence that classified information was improperly stored or transmitted on that personal system in violation of a federal statute that makes it a felony to mishandle classified information either intentionally or in a grossly negligent way, or a second statute making it a misdemeanor to knowingly remove classified information from appropriate systems or storage facilities. And consistent with our counterintelligence responsibilities, we have also investigated to determine if there is evidence of computer intrusion by nation states or by hostile actors of any kind.
Right there, he says it, gross negligence. I guess the question is going to be whether or not she did this. Because he used the word extreme. The State Department and Hillary Clinton were extremely negligent. So now, do we have to be able to parse gross negligence versus extreme negligence?
Well, it's just grossly negligent. Are we playing with the adjective here? But the point being is, as you said, he later comes out and says when he says this is what we found. He says, this is what we found. They were extremely careless. Maybe they should have said grossly careless in the handling of very sensitive, highly classified information. So in one sense, he says, this is what we were assigned the task to do. And then he comes out and he says, and this is what we found. And we found that she did what we were assigned to do. She handled information in a negligent manner, grossly negligent, extremely careless, however you want to phrase that. And how that did not equate into she violated the statute that we were told to examine, or to investigate, and that does not equate into reasonable cause for a prosecutor to go after her.
So you know what I'm excited about, John? I'm excited about the fact that an extremely careless person is potentially going to become POTUS. In fact, General Petraeus to his attorney said this morning, "Hey, how come you didn't try the careless and incompetent defense?" I mean,
well, you see, is that not the pattern of Hillary Clinton? And actually, a lot of the leftists that are out there now in positions of power, it's you do something wrong, you get caught doing it, and after you deny it and then you finally get caught, you just apologize for it. You just say, well, gee, I'm just really sorry. It was stupid of me to do this. I probably, if I had it to do over again, I would do it a different way. And then that gets tossed into the yesterday's news bin. And every time it's brought up and say, but you're still not being held accountable for it. Oh, now you're just a conspiracy. Now you just want to hang them. Now you just want to stone them. And it's like, no, I want them to be held accountable for something that if any other American did, they would be held accountable. It's that simple.
Oh, like the two examples we already give you, Petraeus and this nice little Navy guy who came home from deployment from Afghanistan and just happened to have some classified info on him. And now he can't get a job with a security clearance. He's out $7,500 and he's on probation for a couple years. Oh, but what the hell? He's just a little peon commoner like the rest of us.
Yeah.
But on top of it all, in his press conference, Comey dismantled large portions of what Clinton has been telling us for years. So
yes, he did.
Yeah, I got to interrupt. I got to interrupt everybody here. We got to go to a break. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion here with Don Dix and Joe Hako. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got. Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest. Who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923 and like them on Facebook and you'll be included in contest and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally cut up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474.
All right, hey, we're back. You're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and we have Don Dix from Act for America with us. We're obviously talking, as I'm sure everybody is right now, one way or the other. The saying is being painted one way or the other. It's either a victory for Hillary Clinton, or it's a victory for leftists, or it's a defeat for republicanism and what our great republic stands for. Don, we were talking before the break here about Comey's basically opening remarks. This is what we were assigned to do. We were assigned to determine whether Hillary Clinton had violated a statute, a felony statute, as to whether she grossly was negligible in the handling of classified information. And then goes on later, as we'll hear in the clip in just a moment here, goes on to say that she basically did that, but yet it doesn't seem like it would be reasonable for any prosecutor to take this case on and file criminal charges. Now, the clip I'm going to play right now is as Comey is beginning to list what they did find, and this is in regard to the number of classified emails that they were able to determine, which, by the way, you would think Hillary lied, the 6 or 7 lies during the course of this thing, you would think she at least would have been facing perjury or obstruction of justice charges, if nothing else. Wouldn't you think so?
Sure would seem like it. I don't know how do you go through, and this is also interesting. We talked about the coincidences already about, the tarmac and everything leading up to today. We talked about the president and Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton hitching a ride on Air Force One to a campaign stop. I'm sure the champagne bottles were being popped, the corks were being popped. But what about the 3.5-hour interview that happened over the July 4th weekend when no press was involved? I would love to see somebody file a Freedom of Information Act to get that conversation to see what was actually, because I can't imagine. I mean, short of admitting everything that she did in a 3.5-hour interview, I can't imagine that she could make it through 3.5 hours without perjuring herself. I mean, even her IT person, took the fifth 125 times during the deposition that he was going through.
Yeah, we were pointing that out, and the fact that Huma Abedin, in her deposition, the one that she just gave, She mentioned also that everybody knew what was going on. Everybody knew Clinton was using a private server. Everybody knew there was problems. I think there were times where people at even State Department level were even questioning whether they should be doing this or not, and they were basically told to shut up and just do it. We've covered on this show about the fact that Abedin talked about the fact that Hillary's main computer in her office was completely unsecured. Anybody could have walked in and looked at that computer, see what was going on. Now, obviously, nothing was there because everything was on her BlackBerry. But the point being is that there was very little security in her office to begin with. In fact, I think Abedin even said something along the line that Clinton doesn't even know how to use a desktop PC. She's so locked into the phone, she's not even computer literate. So yeah, I guess it would make sense that when somebody asked her if she wiped the server clean, she said, "Well, you mean like with a cloth?" Because she maybe doesn't even understand it. But we were talking about here about the fact that she lied about the fact that her emails were classified. She denied it. They didn't need a 3.5 hour conversation with her. These are things she said in the public realm, that her emails were not classified. She returned all the work-related emails. The classified emails that she received were not marked classified, as if that has anything to do with it. She took the security of her email system seriously. Well, that's conjecture. That the investigation was a review rather than an investigation, and that her lawyers read through all her emails. And Comey discounted every single one of these statements in his press conference today, down the line. And yet nobody thought about the fact this woman has lied out her teeth again, and we should at least seek obstruction of justice. I'm like, even her husband got at least that charge against him for the Lewinsky thing, for trying to obstruct justice.
So got him disbarred anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, I want to play this clip here because this addresses some of the things that she claimed, that none of her stuff was classified or marked classified or whatever. So this is James Comey starting to tell us what it is they actually found.
From the group of 30,000 emails returned to the State Department in 2014, 110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received. 8 of those chains contained information that was top secret at the time they were sent. 36 of those chains contained secret information at the time, and 8 contained confidential information at the time. That's the lowest level of classification. Separate from those, about 2/3 additional emails were up-classified to make them confidential. Those emails had not been classified at the time that they were sent or received.
That was 2,000 emails that kind of went out there. So that was 2,000 additional emails were up-classified to make them confidential.
And this was one of the arguments that Clinton was floating out there was, they classified all this stuff afterwards. But there was a lot of stuff here that he just lays out that it was all classified at the time it was sent and received. So,
and now we also know from seeing some of those emails that a couple of them actually they didn't completely strip out the classified markings, that those emails had the C on them that indicates that it's classified. So here you've got 8 chains that contained information that was top secret.
Yes.
At the time that they were sent. 36 in those chains contained secret information, and 8 contained confidential. Now, that's not even counting the several thousand work-related emails that were not among the original 30,000 emails that she turned over, and they found in that batch a small number, 3 that were classified at the time they were sent or received. 1 was top secret, and the other 2 were confidential. So even the emails that she didn't forward as a part of that original batch of 30,000 emails, 55,000 pages.
And what happened to those emails, Don? What happened to those emails? Were they deleted somehow?
Well, yeah, they were actually. What he said early on was that the software, the email software, was removed from the server, and it essentially scrambled the file fragments like a jigsaw puzzle thrown on the floor, and they had to assemble them. And when they assembled them, what they found was that there were 2,000 work-related emails. Now, the other thing that's not even brought up in all of this conversation is whether any of these emails had anything to do with her using the State Department to advance the agenda of the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah.
Which, you know...
Now that's a formidable question, but I understand that that part of the investigation is still going on. Am I right?
Well, he never said anything about that.
He never said anything today. We'll have to see. I mean, are they going to basically close the book on the whole thing today? He didn't say. We have ongoing investigations into other issues.
Yeah.
I don't know if those amount to being criminal or not. They see. There's a little bit of a rub here. Is that some of the things that she did broke what are called administrative rules, and really the only leverage that a agency has is if that person is still employed. Like for instance, retaining agency records after leaving. You've got 36 of the CFR section 1222.4 that says departing officials and employees may not remove federal records from agency custody. Clinton's emails were actually stored in a private server at her home. So she did that from the get-go. They were never in the custody.
So when you're talking intent, there's your intent right there.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that she did something wrong. And now it's just the idea you want to split hairs. You want to talk about negligent or gross negligence. Or,
just kills me because Comey goes, although we did not find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton or her colleagues intended to violate laws governing the handle of classified information, there is evidence that they were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information. Yeah, and it started with a rogue email server in her bathroom.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting too, because I've been looking at some of the reaction from the left, and while they're giving each other the high fives, isn't it the left, especially the Bernie Sanders supporters, who have been screaming about how the justice system is corrupt and none of the folks get justice under the system, and yet here's a clear case of someone not getting justice under the system, and yet as long as it's somebody on their team, doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yeah. We got to go to break. When we come back, I got another clip here. We got 2 more clips that we want to play here. And we'll get back. We'll get to them. Well, we got to take a quick break here. This is our quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
We're back right here at the Conservative Syndicate. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and we've got Don Dix with us. I want to get right into this next clip so we can get all this in before the end of the show here. This is FBI Director James Comey now telling us what they found. First, he told us what they were told they were supposed to find, or what they were supposed to look for, and then he started revealing what they found within classified information. But here, he really kind of gets down to the core, which this is what blew me away when he finally, after saying this is what we're looking for, and then saying we basically found it, but then closing it all up by saying, but we don't think it's justifiable in bringing charges. Here we go.
Now let me tell you what we found. Although we did not find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton or her colleagues intended to violate laws governing the handling of classified information, there is evidence that they were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information. For example, 7 email chains concern matters that were classified at the top secret special access program at the time they were sent and received. Those chains involve Secretary Clinton both sending emails about those matters and receiving emails about those same matters. There is evidence to support a conclusion that any reasonable person in Secretary Clinton's position or in the position of those with whom she was corresponding about those matters should have known that an unclassified system was no place for that conversation. In addition to this highly sensitive information, we also found information that was properly classified as secret by the U.S. intelligence community at the time it was discussed on email. That is, excluding any later up-classified emails.
All right. So you're telling us at the beginning of this conversation, Mr. Comey, that basically you were tasked with finding out whether there was any gross negligence on the part of Clinton or her staff or the State Department in the handling of classified information. And you come and tell us now that, yes, we found there was gross negligence. But it still doesn't equate into charges. How does anybody, let me get to the punchline here, Don, and get your opinion on this. I'm really feeling right now that what this did today was basically prove to the American people that we have no allies in government anymore. None whatsoever at any level. And I'm just wondering now where we go from here.
Well, I don't know that I would go so far as to say at any level. I know for a fact there are people within the what I'll call the lower levels of the FBI, for instance, who are absolutely stunned at what's unfolding at the upper levels right now. Whether it's, this was also a bad weekend for national security from the standpoint of, the number of bombings that occurred around the world, ISIS making good on its claim. When you look at how the FBI and other agencies have been purged with any reference to Islamic ideology to be used in countering the terror that's being perpetrated by the jihadis. There are FBI people that are beside themselves about the fact that they can't get the proper training, that they're not able to, essentially the rules of engagement for the FBI are putting them at a deficit. So I know there's good people at the lower levels. It's the upper levels. It's this upper management that places these operating matrices over and handicaps the people that are trying to do, that believe as we do, if you will, that there are problems out there, but they're not allowed to properly deal with them. So I know there's good people, but at the upper levels, whether it's, Lois Lerner going after, conservative groups, and then John Hoskinson covering for her, saying we can't find any backups, and then, oh yeah, we found backups, but the tapes were scrubbed clean. A situation like this. This is clearly being perpetrated from the upper levels. This is the Obama administration organizing the federal government in such a way so that their agenda can be foisted on the American people, whether it's climate change or going after weaponizing agencies of government to go after Americans, the EPA, the Bureau of Land Management. All of this stuff is being done. Yes, it's another gut punch in the series. The question remains after this, and the things that will be interesting to see is, will there be FBI agents that resign over this? Can Donald Trump use the admissions of the FBI's press conference in a way to capitalize and elevate his campaign above the level that it's currently at? And will he be able to convince the people that are in the middle? I mean, the hardliners that support Hillary, nothing is going to get in the way of them supporting Hillary. I think even if she was indicted, they would still support her. Mm-hmm. On the right, you've got the hardline Trump supporters. The real question mark, what's at stake in this election is the middle. The Bernie supporters that are backing Bernie because he's the insurgent candidate, that believe that we can't get a fair shake, and they migrate over to Donald. Can Donald make a case to court those supporters that can be brought over, that also believe that the system is rigged? Can the people that are in the middle, the individuals that are the independent voters, the non-registered, declined to state people, can Donald Trump make the case to court them? Mm-hmm. That's really the question moving forward as it relates to November 7th and the election. Yeah. And even in the next couple of weeks, before Hillary announces who her running mate's going to be, and the left has their convention in Philadelphia, he's got a window of opportunity to capitalize on this. So, can he do it? That's part of the question. Yeah, and I would just play the devil's advocate to one point here, is that if you're at the lower levels, what difference does it make? I mean, you could be purged out anyway, but it would be something to see if there is some kind of noticeable exodus of people from the FBI and maybe some of these other agencies, maybe even the State Department or somewhere, where people say, no, enough is enough. We probably didn't enough time here to play this last clip here. I saved the last one here for Joe, because Joe talked to me about this before the show even came on. This is talking about the possibility of Hillary's servers being hacked.
While not the focus of our investigation, we also developed evidence that the security culture of the State Department, in general, and with respect to the use of unclassified systems in particular, was generally lacking in the kind of care for classified information that's found elsewhere in the U.S. government. With respect to potential computer intrusion by hostile actors, we did not find direct evidence that Secretary Clinton's personal email domain, in its various configurations since 2009, was hacked successfully. But given the nature of the system and of the actors potentially involved, we assess we would be unlikely to see such direct evidence. We do assess that hostile actors gained access to the private commercial email accounts of people with whom Secretary Clinton was in regular contact from her personal account. We also assess that Secretary Clinton's use of a personal email domain was both known by a large number of people and readily apparent. She also used her personal email extensively while outside the United States, including sending and receiving work-related emails in the territory of sophisticated adversaries. Given that combination of factors, we assess it is possible that hostile actors gained access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account.
Never do that.
I won't. Trust me.
All right, guys, we are out of time. I had hoped we'd get a couple extra minutes here to get some comments here, but want to let everybody know you want to check with Don's website, Act for America. It's act with the number 4 America.com. You want to know what's going on with Islam. We're going to get to that, Don. We actually are going to get to that. Got stuff. I've been piling up stuff I want to give you on this stuff, especially the scrubbing of Islam radicalism and all this from government documents and everything. You hit me with that last week, and I've been doing a lot of reading on it. So we are going to get to it, but unfortunately we're out of time here. So visit Don at Act for America, and I appreciate you coming on, Don, and we'll be in touch with you.
Pleasure. Thanks.
All right, guys, we're done for the day. And we'll be back tomorrow. We'll pick up some of this tomorrow because I'm sure within the next 24 hours The spin machine is just going to go into overdrive. But we have a couple of things here that we really need to reiterate. Because as Don was just saying, the problem that we have before us right now is whether or not we're going to have to deal with Hillary Clinton in November. And as I said at the very beginning of the show, if that's the case, I think we might as well just turn the lights out. It's not going to be worth the effort anymore. And we're going to be pissing into the wind. And I, for one, just don't care to do that. So we'll be back tomorrow. Same time, 3 o'clock out here in the left coast, 6 o'clock on the east coast. God love you. Thank you for visiting us. Check our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's theconservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best in uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, along with Joe Hako, signing off until next time right here at the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.